And again, since this is a component, okay, so I can just right click on it and use my move tool, click, hit the control to make a duplicate, slide it across. Again, notice the red dotted line, not a black but a red, so it's lined up right. And because that was kind of around the corner, I couldn't get it exactly next to this. So now I can come back and grab this, move it on the red line again, and get it over to the surface. And there is the shape to represent the slider. Remember, this is our slider here. And if you wanted, you could click on that and use your materials list. Let my computer work here for a minute. And maybe pick a different shade of gray. Click on that. Saying both should have changed color because it's a component. And if you remember, you click on the house, it shows you just the colors we have existing in our example we're working on. All right, then there's our drawer, our basic breaks. Now I haven't gone in to put inside shelves. There's a number of things you could do. You could make permanent shelves. This kind of indicates permanent shelves. You could go through the process of making movable shelves, and that would be something you would do, make a decision on with what you're doing. But these cross members, because they're inset right here on either end, is going to make this a very rigid and strong shape for the weight that this will support and hold. Alright, so now what I can do is I'm going to take and click on it, and you'll notice okay, see, these are separate highlighted pieces because the way we made it, see. So what I want to do is I want to make sure that I select the whole thing, make it a component again. So I may call it this time pull out and put a W slider. Notice I did not put any abbreviation in there, the slash sign or something, because those kinds of signs are used in programming, and when you're making titles, sometimes if you put them in, it'll say, "Nah, I can't do it." So I just am avoiding it at this point. Take my move tool, grab this, slide it back over to this line that we put in here earlier. And if I grab with the corner on the line, I can slide this right back into place and see how my basic drawer section fits and works into my design. Alright, the next thing that we can do is begin to create the drawer front. Now in this particular design, what I'm doing is sort of the period I'm looking at for these particular drawers is around the turn of the century, 1900 to 2000, that switch between that particular time. And so I'm making this wood trim that goes around the outside. And I need to make sure that that wood trim fits in this, and it's going to fasten to this surface I've got here. So again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on it, double click, and click again so I get just the end panel. And all I want is the outline. So if I hold the Shift key and click in the center, I will eliminate that, and now I just have this outside edge. And again, I'm going to go up and grab my offset tool, click on it. If I grab on this line, I can pull a line up to make it come to where I would want, say, the drawer to overlap. Do I want to go to clear outside, or maybe just to the middle and let go and get my section? Okay, go back to my select tool. Okay. Come on. Oh, I lost it. Let's do that again. What it did was filled in this side. That happens sometimes, so I want to do another one. Okay. Oh boy. All kinds of fun happening. Here we go. Okay, so you can see I have that part that represents the edge. Now, the other thing that I can play with once I get that done, if I made the front on this drawer the same size as this one, you could see the two edges would overlap. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this line, use my M key or move tool, and I can slide that line over so that when I make my other drawer, I will have a nice space in between the two. And if I said I wanted this one to line up with the outside edge, again, highlight it and move that one over. So now my drawer front, what it would do, as you can see, it would leave a space between the two drawer fronts here, match the outside edge. I'm going to click on that and use the pull tool to pull out for the thickness, and I think I will go for 5/8 again. Let go of that. Now, the thing that we have here, you notice these are different thicknesses here. So what I can do is I can just click on this inside edge, pull that over to get it to match the other side. And I could use my measurement tool to double check that to make sure it's right. You can see this one needs to come down a little bit yet. And I'm going to do the same thing on the bottom. And I'm actually going to pull that one up a little bit thicker. Oftentimes that's the case. Kind of a nice framework is where the bottom thickness is a little bit heavier than the other thickness. And here's my drawer front on that particular cabinet. All right, so we've got that drawer made with that cabinet front. And again, if you'll notice what's happening here is the support boards are showing, so that when I may decide, okay, I need to come back and make this quite a bit thicker. And the easiest way to do that, since I've got all these to the proportion I want, is I'm just going to select the outline. I have to hold my shift key down so I can select each one of these separately. Okay, so I've got just the outline edge done. And then if I come back and grab my offset tool again, I can add thickness to these till I get right to the point where it will cover those boards. And since it didn't fill in, I may have to come in and fill in a couple of corners, which we can get rid of later. There we go. So see, it filled it in now. So I can delete that, and I can come back and delete these now. And since I don't want these lines anymore, and I have my drawer front. And what's happened here, because sometimes when you use the offset tool, it draws and eliminates other parts, and you'll see I've lost the inside of the thickness. I've found the easiest way to do that is I'm just going to highlight that shape, click M for my move tool, pick up on the corner, duplicate that surface by hitting Control, and slide the shape back to the corner. And see, I've got my two thicknesses now. Then I can come back in here and connect the corners. And when I connect the corners, it will, or should, start to, yeah, you can see it starts to fill that in.